minutes of a grand final last year. What has Salford got to do to take this to Warrington tonight?
Well, do you know what? I think there's a lot of confidence in this Salford side, and when you looked at the opening 25 minutes last week when they played against Hull KR, they were brilliant. They threw the ball around. They only managed to score 4 points. Only made 2 mistakes, Stuart. The final 55 minutes, they just made far too many. I think it was a further 14. And look at that. That's the strength, the determination that they're going to be up against.
Yeah, that's the intent there. Tez right from the off. Harrison, Curry and Peter Matautia all going after Olmeroyd, just pushing him right back. There's 2 plays gone and not even 10 metres made as they look to move the ball right to left.
Well, if you compare the 2 packs, it should be a no contest, but this is where Salford are really dangerous as Lafay makes some space on that far side, nearly up to halfway. That partnership between Lafay and Burgess, very, very dangerous and very profitable. And this could be profitable as well. Dupree's all the way through.
Oh, there could have been a penalty.
Defense.
Penalty then, Andy Ackers pulled back.
Yep, may well have been. What a start for Salford. Unfortunately for them, the last play coming to nothing, but that's a sign of what they can do. But should there have been a penalty?
Well, yeah, there should have been, because Andy Ackers was pulled back. That great break from Tyler Dupree. I'll tell you now, he's one of the strongest players on this field. Everyone will talk about Paul Vaughan and how good he is with the ball. But Tyler Dupree, that's the challenge for him. He's a young man making his way in the game, and the lads were asked in the studio, how do you deal with the forwards that Warrington have got? Well, I tell you what, you step up and you take the challenge on.
Well, the forwards, I think, you know, you get the feeling, I spoke to Paul Rowley, the coach, yesterday, and a lot of the talk this week has been around the Warrington pack and the size of the Warrington pack and the dominating Warrington pack that we've seen in the first 2 rounds. And the Salford players have been hurt by that, you know. They reckon it's game on, and they will take it to Warrington, inspired and motivated by all the talk, but they haven't got a hope down the middle.
Yeah, for sure, Pikey. And when you get challenged as a middle and you're coming up against a side that everybody's been raving about the size, the physicality of their pack, well, you see it head on. But this boy here with the ball in hand, Tim Lafay, beautiful pass there to Watkins, half a chance again. They've been threatening that all night.
Lovely line from Callum Watkins. It had to be good defence, but the intent is there, isn't it, from the Salford Red Devils in these early stages. Dion Cross, 10 metres inside the Warrington half of the field. Parsington, Dupree juggling on the last, but again, a really good set this from Salford. And Brodie Croft lifts it high and hanging, but not much pressure on the fullback, and an easy take for Matt Dusty, but an encouraging start here for Salford.
Well, the challenge for Salford is playing for the full 80 minutes, isn't it, and not making mistakes. They've had the ball 2 occasions, they've brought once, they've come up with a half break, they're playing pretty physical, and there's a penalty here now.
Yeah, that wasn't needed there. I think it's the man, Ollie Partington, or Tyler Dupree even. Both of them are in there. You just see Fulish going into contact, and Dupree, with his right shoulder, just deemed to catch the one round the head of Josh Thulis. But going back to Salford, Tim Lafay, you know, 224 metres and 9 tackle busts from him last week. There's the threat. Get the ball in his hands and things will happen around him. We've already seen it so far. A brilliant player that's just all class.
Well, the intensity that we've seen from Salford in these early stages, if they didn't know before, Warrington know that they're in a game here. Ben Curry looking to offload, but we've seen the way that Salford like to play. They like to bring a smile to their face, don't they? And anybody watching with a sparkling style, and they can certainly get on Warrington's nerves. And there is Paul Vaughan, the competition's leading meter maker.
And there was Ollie Partington as well. As soon as there was some ribs exposed, he just shot into him, didn't he?
No, you pulled him back in.
There'll be quite a battle all over the field. There will be. Short pass out for James Harrison.
What a start he's had to 2023. 2 tries, back-to-back tries as well.
Well, inspirational is what Darryl Powell said about James Harrison. Williams with a little kick forward, pressure on Briley on the far side, ball goes inside, picked up by Burgess. What on earth was Briley doing there? But they get away with it, Salford, somehow.
Well, lucky Joe Burgess was there, wasn't it? Made a few mistakes last week, Joe Burgess, but come up with some decent running meets. And Brodie Croft, look at this, he's well up for this challenge. Everyone's been talking about how good George Williams is, and rightly so, but Brodie Croft knows that he's got to be on top form tonight.
Well, we've only had 5 minutes played, and already we've seen the ball shifted around from one side of the field to the other. The Salford Red Devils just poking the nose through the line as Ellis Longstaff now carries into Harrison, and it's deemed a knock on.
Yeah, well, that's unfortunate for young Longstaff, of course, making his debut tonight against his parent club, Ellis Longstaff, on a season-long loan to Salford from Warrington. There's the apology, but it's an error that they could ill afford.
Yeah, there might have been a bit of a little play from Josh Drinkwater, but it's really a loose carry. Going into contact, you've got to be better. And look, you look at and you talk about completion rates in the game and the plays that you're up against. Well, the last 2 weeks that Warrington have played, 90% one week in round one, then 88% last week completion rate. They're a team that respects the ball, and when you've got players that want to attack, it makes it so dangerous. So if you're playing against them, you've got to be absolutely on.
Well, you make a really good point, Terry, because Salford's completion rate in the defeat against KR was a mere 61%, and that isn't going to get you anywhere near winning a game.
No. And when you compound the 16 penalties that they give away, it's no wonder why they got beat in the manner that they did. But the middles of Warrington so far are just carrying time after time again, and just all the while wearing the middle unit out of Salford.
That was McKaylee with the run. Ball goes inside for Vaughan. What a signing he has proved to be so far. Darryl Clark. They go to the right-hand side, and Drinkwater with the kick forward, and Briley has to be alert and is alert under pressure there from Greg Minikin, and it will be a dropout. And the pressure just beginning to build. It's the first time they've had a chance to put pressure on.
So he reads the game so well, doesn't he? And he gets the right weight, the right contact on it. And Darryl Powell will know, and he'll talk about building pressure against this Salford side.
Well, they've got two of the very best halfbacks to do that, both of them with a lovely short kicking game. You know, Salford have conceded 6 tries so far, Pikey, and 3 of them have come off the back of kicks, so it's pretty evident that so far we've seen 2 little neat kicks in. Yes, Briley's he's dealt with them. We'll keep an eye out on that as this game unfolds.
For Sneed it will be, who launches one downfield. All week been looking forward to this halfback battle, Sneed and Croft against Williams and Drinkwater. Let's see how it develops. 0-0, 7 minutes on the clock. But Warrington building ahead of steam here with Williams. Lovely inside pass, picked up by Stephen Ratchford.
You know, you do things like that when you're full of confidence, and this Warrington side, they are full of beans.
Here is Clark and Harrison. A revelation. His player of the season so far from the opening 2 games. That's the coach speaking. Another little kick through, chase on for Curry, and Ben Curry may well have won the race. No need, I don't think. Wow, well, there is going to be a need. We think Curry scored the opening try. Ultimately, the decision will be made by the video ref, Liam Moore.
Okay, there was a live decision of a try on tackle 3. And a first check onside from the kick, please, and then going into the grounding. So all onside to the left, so we can play on from this point. We're just on the grounding now. Something close, please, if we've got it. Yeah. Ball's grounded. Thank you. I've made my decision.
Well, I think the decision should be fairly simple here for Liam Moore. The first try of the match goes to Ben Curry, and it came literally 20 seconds after Kyle Amor highlighted the fact that Salford are conceding tries from kicks, Terry, and that's exactly what happened there. Lovely movement. A lovely try.
Well, that left edge is just lethal, isn't it? You look at Ashton Ratchford, you look at Curry, George Williams controls it, and he's a halfback that likes to go really deep into that defensive line. Another clever kick. We saw one on the right-hand side from Drinkwater. This time it's over on the left-hand side. George Williams did a team, Warrington, that like to start quick. They like to try and ambush you. And that's what Darryl Powell's got them doing this year.
It's just a gorgeous kick, isn't it? Through the first line of defence. Ben Curry chasing hard. Brodie Croft loses sight of him and allows him to run right past and gets the ball down. George Williams there with his 4th try assist so far in sensational form, carrying on from the World Cup. It's a joy to watch.
Well, it's been a rip-roaring start, hasn't it? From both sides, to be fair. And here is Stefan Ratchford, perfect with the boot in Super League so far this season. 12 attempts and 12 hits. Can he make it 13 out of 13 to extend the Warrington lead? Yeah, never really in any doubt from the moment it left the boot. So Warrington do strike first, 9 minutes on the clock as they look to make it 3 on the spin. They lead 6-0.
Well, if you don't succeed, try and try again. That was the 3rd kick, the little neat kick in the in-goal. And it pays dividends there. Ben Curry working harder than everybody else around him, beats him to the ball, Briley, and gets the opening score of the evening, 6-0.
And here is Michele, one of the monster Warrington pack. Yeah, it's right. The boys were saying before, you know, Brian and Jamie and Barry, that there's just a different atmosphere around the place, isn't there? When you got to the ground earlier on, and I talked about the optimism, the good feel about the place, and you know, there just seems to be a real buzz around this club once more.
Well, they're so confident. Look, they like to play the game on speed. Again, you look down.
From Williams once more.
That's the good players. The brains of this team lead the team.
On the last, Dusty, a little chip forward, but that was easy for Burgess, and it'll be relief as well for Salford. Unlucky as he slips there, but yet again we've just seen a little bit of magic from George Williams, who looks a different player. I mean, you were talking pre-match about the dressing room and the atmosphere in the dressing room, and Darryl Powell was saying to me just yesterday that he admitted that it was impossible to keep the dressing room together because so many players were leaving.
Yeah,
and he says it's unified now.
Well, of course it is. Everybody's on the same page, pulling towards a common goal. Almost the season gets reset, if you like, Pikey. And you know, the forward pack that they've got, Ollie Partington does well there to escape form.
Yeah, good opportunity for Lafay, and now Burgess has got some room, he's got some space, he's got some support. Is it going to be a try? And it's a superb try for Ellis Longstaff. Would you believe it? The young man on debut for Salford against his parent club, and he scores a try within 11 minutes of pulling on the Red Devils shirt. Bang, straight back in it. What a start to this game from both. And Salford are back in the match.
Well, Ollie Partington there just shows Vaughan. Vaughan loses inside shoulder. It's Longstaff to Lafay, releases Burgess, and Ellis Longstaff just pushing up through the middle of the field there. He only had 6 appearances last year at Warrington, found himself over at Hull FC, and he's back against his former parent club and scores an important score inside of 12 minutes. The break was exceptional and the support play was incredible. Well done, Ellis Longstaff. Game on.
But you sense, Terry, that every time Salford have had the ball in the opening stages, that they've looked dangerous.
Yeah, they've looked dangerous, and they have looked dangerous for the past couple of years, haven't they? And Paul Rowley, like Barry was saying before in the studio, he's got them playing a brand. They're not frightened to throw the ball around. They'll take chances. Croft and Sneed carry the ball more than any player in Super League. They're halfbacks that are willing to go as well.
And Sneed levels the score, so 6 apiece, 2 superb tries, 12 minutes gone.
Well, I think you can take this back to this big run from Callum Watkins. Look at this. He comes straight and hard onto this. He gets through the line. A couple of defenders fall off him. Then it's a quick play of the ball. And from this play then, they just go wide. They find that space. They keep on going. Tyler Dupree gets a one-on-one, gets a bit tangled up. Andy Ackers is looking. And it's just a sign of reading what's in front of you and playing what's in front of you.
What a terrific start to this game. incredible to think, you know, that Warrington lost 8 matches at home last season. After winning the last 3, the capitulation was dramatic, but the turnaround in playing personnel has been dramatic as well. And as I mentioned, Darryl Powell really believes now that he has the tools to work with, the tools to create a side capable of winning trophies. At the moment, they're having to deal with a rampant Salford, and they certainly put that mark down. They certainly set out the way they're going to play tonight.
There was a little tip on then. Josh Fulish just bit in. If there was a little pass from Ryan Briley, I'm sure that Tim Laffey and Joe Burgess would have had some joy on that left-hand side.
That's clearly where they've gone in the opening stages, down the left. As Sneed puts up another high hanging kick, and it's a good take from Dufty. I don't think there was any.
He's got to be better though, Dion Cross.
Well, I was just going to say there, set after point, almost perfect. Going up 85 metres up the other end of the field and asking Dufty to claim that. But Dion Cross, I agree, Tez, he's got to be much, much better than that. The chase is all good. It's just the final part at the end, and that'll disappoint Paul Rowley because it's detail. It's detail of knowing your job, doing your role right. And it's just a pressure release. Warrington are able to kick the ball 20 metres up the field and just clear their own end.
Well, 6 apiece. Brilliant game here. And what about that? The champions, the World Club champions, their first home game of the season. That is heading for a sellout. I'm told there's just a couple of hundred tickets left. Saints against Leeds, Sky Sports Arena, 7:30. The repeat of the grand final, of course. And here is Curry now as Warrington come once more with Stephen Ratchford midway inside the Salford half of the field. Been a really good, entertaining first 15 minutes.
It's a great carry, isn't it, there from the winger, Matty Ashton.
Ashton did well. And they're inside that danger zone. Williams now. A little short pass, but there's nothing doing, I don't think, there for Harrison. Last one. Will it be Williams? Will it be Drinkwater? And they go to Drinkwater. Short pass, Matantia looking for a way through. Offload for Clark. Bit of space maybe on the left-hand side. Curry finds Ratchford. One-handed back to Curry. Now Williams will eventually kick towards the corner. And, well, mistake there. Picked up on the back foot by Laffey. Somehow gets out. So Salford escape again. It was a bit hair and scare, but it stayed 6-all.
But it's a couple of desperate plays for him, isn't it? They got out of trouble with Joe Burgess. Now he comes up with an offload, a dangerous offload. Just 5 metres from the line. Tim Laffey did a decent job to get back in the field of play. But you can't keep inviting those chances and giving those opportunities to Warrington.
And just a little bit of detail there. That's twice that Salford have been able to escape their own in-goal area. And if Warrington are really going to kick on and get to the next level where they need to be, you know, challenging for titles, then they need to trap those boys inside the goal line.
Repeat sets equals pressure, equals points. Ackers.
Outside 20, inside 40.
Kick downfield from Brodie Croft. Bounces awkwardly. Ashton slips. Eventually picked up by George Williams. Running backwards, here is Matty Ashton.
Straight out, Cal Holly.
Matty Ashton, 2 tries, 4 tackle busts, 247 metres against Huddersfield. We're looking for another big performance tonight.
Fulish played just inside the Salford half of the field. They've been right in this contest, right up in the faces of the Warrington Wolves. Little inside pass from Williams.
You see that
defence,
play,
wasn't it?
You see that play many times. Darryl Clark holds up the markers, but George Williams inside ball.
And Williams now, the chase is on once more, and Briley this time will shadow the ball. And they will get it with attack. Well, I think the referee is saying it may just have brushed the chest of Ryan Briley.
Yeah, to drop on Ryan Briley, the ball bounced up and hit him and then went out the field play. Look, you can see him trying to shepherd it over.
Good decision.
It's a great
well
ball,
spotted, Jack Smith.
It's a great kick yet again from Warrington.
I like the part before it though, Tez. Harrison just turning the ball back up. The whole line's flat. They're expecting the kick and he just threads it through. A little turn-up play there. The whole of that left edge is flat. And chasing hard there, Matt Dufty forces Briley into ushering that one out.
A good drop out, just bounce inside the touchline, picked up by at Matty Ashton. 30 tries in 46 games for Warrington, some record. Play on, says the referee. The tackle came originally from Oliver Partington. Dupree, who's been superb so far for Salford, with the tackle on Vaughan. Here's Drinkwater.
Offload. 3. Move Ellis! 10 Salford!
Clark again, marshalling his troops.
Sneak shot that way.
Cayley plays the ball. Offload again from Williams, who's been involved in everything. Clark, suspicion of a forward pass there.
Forward.
Yeah, I think it was forward, yeah, absolutely.
Well, they've got so many players, haven't they, that go at the line, that try and, like, get those defenders interested. As soon as they jump the line and step into them, a gap's created. You can see Andy Ackers just plants his feet. They get away with it, though.
No shot back here. No. Mate, whether you agree with the decision or not, I don't want you inciting any other players.
Did he come up to me and do that?
Mate, just leave it at that. Come on.
Yeah, well, good words there from the referee, just letting Matt Duffy know who's in charge, but it's the right decision. It was a forward pass.
Yeah, good referee, isn't he? Jack Smith. This Warrington side will know this is where they want to defend them. They know that they have to be good, because this Salford side, we saw in the first 5 or 6 minutes that they just cut them apart on the left-hand side. You see Tim Laffey just setting up to carry the ball off the ruck. You get players around him. He's dangerous with his offloading game and the power that he has.
Go on.
Well, I'd imagine Paul Rowley is thrilled with what he's seen in the main so far from his side. They've come out and they've given it a real big go.
Yeah, well, he's up against the Warrington side that started the season off well. The first 2 games that they played against Leeds and Huddersfield, they didn't concede a point in the first half. Warrington, they have done. They've conceded some points by this Salford side, who are willing to just tip the ball on, play out the back, as long as you have some support from this man who's got the ball.
Oh, that's a break there. Partington on his shoulder.
Partington now. Well, that came off a Warrington hand, and it went backwards, I think, according to the referee. I think, well, yeah, it did come off a Warrington player, so it did go forward, yeah. Eventually, the right decision is made. I'm absolutely certain it went forward. No argument.
Well, it's just a subtle play. If you go back, Partington tips the ball on. Yes, he gets tackled, but it's a quick ruck. Ackers jumps off the back of it. And look who's there. Ollie Partington, Ellis Longstaff. They've had a bright start, those two. Great break from Ackers as well.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And that's a good battle in itself, isn't it? Andy Ackers, the man who's currently got the England shirt, against Darryl Clark, who wasn't picked for the World Cup last year.
Get your heads in. Shot clock off. Ball in. Ball's out.
6 apiece. Fantastic first quarter here at the Halliwell Jones. Round 3. Warrington looking to make it 3 out of 3. Here is Callum Watkins, one of the many players who signed a new long-term contract all the way to 2025. Ackers now. Sneed with a short pass looking for Partington. Ackers looking left, looking right, comes to the right-hand side eventually. Misses one out. Croft. Chance for Briley, puts a kick through, but wasn't the best kick from Ryan Briley, and pounced on by Ben Curry, just shy of the try line.
Well, early kick in the set, wasn't he? He was trying to kick it to Ken Seo. It didn't come off.
And I just think when you know, quarter of the game gone, and they haven't played too much of the game down here, Salford, and perhaps felt that they could have just spent a little bit more time, a couple more players, then threatened with the kick.
I've just got the benefit of a set restart as well on the second tackle, so a bit of breathing space for Warrington to come off their own line. Joe Bullock on off the bench. Clark again from dummy half. Yeah, it's a great battle all over the field, the half-back. Vaughan sets Williams away. Williams has got support either side. Had to be good defence again. Burgess is there, but it was Brodie Croft brilliantly with the original tackle. Dusty now. And here come Warrington. 21 minutes, 6-all.
Well, there's some worrying signs. They've opened them up a couple of times through the scrum lines.
That's okay.
Opportunity made. Oh, it's intercepted. It is intercepted. What a pick-off there by Theo. Now then, this is going to be a sensational try for Ryan Briley. He goes the distance. Salford go the distance. Fantastic score. It all came from an incredible, magical pickup off the bootlaces from Ken Sio. And would you believe it? In the space of 6 seconds, one end of the field to the other, and Salford lead.
Well, incredible play from Salford. Good defence to get back. Joe Burgess did a good job. And then the man who came up with the break, George Williams, throws that intercept, and Ryan Briley scored in round 1 against Leigh, his first professional club, and he just has this knack of turning up in the right place at the right time. And I've been really impressed with how he's performed this year, defensively, offensively. Like he said, he puts himself in a decent position. He knows that he's got to back up his winger, and he times that run to perfection. But that's the Salford of 2022, 2023. You can even go back, say, 2019. This team don't know when they beat.
Yeah, they keep playing.
You've got a smile on your face, Carl. What were you going to say?
Well, look, I was just talking about how they'd been exposed and opened up through the middle of the field. Warrington had rolled them all the way down the other end of the field, and I just think George Williams, his pass selection there, Ken Sio anticipates it, plucks it out the air, and in the blink of an eye, they go up the other end of the field to score and send Salford into the lead for the first time this evening. 200+ tries in his career, Ryan Briley. He's just got another one to his name.
Amazing, amazing.
Loving this.
What a game, what a game. First time as well that Warrington have been behind in any game this season. And they're now behind by 6 points, 12 points to 6 after trailing 6-0. And Ryan Briley, he may have reached 30+, but you don't catch him from there.
You know, it's a good knack. He's been in this position many times. 216th try that he scored in his career. Incredible, really. Like I said before, been really impressed with him. His defensive work the other week was incredible. I think it was round 1 against Leigh that certainly won him the game.
Yeah, caught with some big tackles. What's all response are we going to get from Warrington now?
Yeah, 24 minutes gone. Superstar. And we saw a brilliant start to the NRL this morning with the game between Parramatta and Melbourne. And it continues at 9 in the morning. The defending champs, Penrith, taking on Brisbane, 9 AM on Sky Sports Arena. And then on Sunday, the brand new Dolphins in the NRL, the first game coached by Wayne Bennett. Christian Wolf, the former Saints boss, the assistant coach. They're at home to the Roosters, and at the moment Salford are at home. What a run by Dupree. He's still going. He was ankle tapped by Clark, but Tyler Dupree has been sensational tonight, and so has Salford. And here they go again. Sneed with the pass, Briley for Lappide. Lappide trying to get the ball out, and it goes into touch, and we can all draw breath. Did it come off on Warrington?
It's touched off of Warrington, and that's the threat.
His hand over Salford ball, where do you want it?
It's Tim Lappide. If you watch him here, because he goes into contact, he's got this flick, it comes out the back.
Touch. Middle.
Just a quality player, and I've said it before, what a signing from nowhere.
Yeah, and to put them in that position, it was Lappide's offload to Dupree. But just look at this, a show and go from a front row around Darryl Clark. Clark just gets a little ankle tap, and the chase back from Ashton's enough. But 120 metres made already, Tyler Dupree. He's having a wow of a game.
He is. So is Oliver Partington. Dupree, at the moment, the outstanding player on the field. And there's been some pretty good players out there in the early stages. And this is an opportunity for Sneed. He opened up for Mark Sneed. He saw the gap. He read the play. He was through the gap. He scores the try, and Salford extend their lead.
Well, this is one of the things that I mentioned to Brian. I don't believe that this Warrington side have been tested defensively yet. And they've had the blowtorch put on them in the last 10 minutes. And they've melted, haven't they? That try is far, far too soft to be scored. Mark Sneed, he just slices straight through them. And there's question marks in the Warrington ranks already in this game. They have to be better than that. They have to show more resolve, because that is far, far too easy. Just gets in between Ben Curry and Darryl Clark. They both stare at each other, questioning, wondering whose job it is. And that's just too simple. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's really poor defence, that. your try-line defence. You've already been broken by Tyler Dupree, who got some decent metres up the field, and then Mark Sneed, 27 carries with the ball last week. A carry like that close to the line, you'd expect him, if he's going to turn up in the middle of the field, near the try line, he's going to get belted into next week. That was just too simple to go through that gap.
Oh, yeah, you both put your finger on it. It was just far too easy.
It was far too easy. You know, Mark Sneed, you know, forgive me for saying this, he's not known for that half-back that has that electric pace. But he injected himself onto the ball there and just ripped between the hooker and the back rower of Warrington and just gets a simple score. And it's 16-6. You would bet this will become 18. They deserve this lead. They really, really do.
They have been motivated through the week. They have been inspired by the fact that they've been written off in many places through the week.
Absolutely.
And written off strongly.
You just look at the shape that they have. Sneed out the back of it. And everybody else, they just get up 3 metres and hold.
The main threat is the man who's got the ball. Yeah. Everyone's looking at the attacking shape that they've got set up and not looking at that man.
Stay, George. Let's go, Josh.
Well, the star of the show for Salford, or one of the stars of the show, without a shadow of a doubt, Tyler Dupree. Just 23 years of age, the young man, Tyler Dupree.
Do you know, he's done it tough as well. He's had to come through the system at Leeds, then he's gone to Oldham, then he's gone to Widnes, then he's got given an opportunity at Salford. Let me tell you, this lad's an athlete. He's got great leg speed and strong as an ox. He can bench press 180 kilos for 3 times. That's 28 stone.
There he is again.
Oh, they're opening up
offload again, and here they come again with Longstaff. He served his apprenticeship with 4 years in floating around in the Championship. But I think he's proved without a shadow of a doubt in the first 3 games he is a Super League player.
Oh, they're in trouble
Another
here.
missed tackle, this time by Williams. Dion Cross.
Well, Warrington have just sent on Danny Walker and Sam Cassiano now to try and stop that threat.
Well, it's that man again, Tyler Dupree, getting his right hand away, Partington pushing up, and Longstaff again. They've been so bright, that young middle unit.
Cross goes high. Ashton takes it well. The welcoming committee of Callum Watkins and Dion Cross. 18-6, coming up for half an hour gone. And there's little doubt that Salford deserved this lead.
Yeah, but just going back to your point earlier, you know, you mentioned those guys who have done it tough in the Championship. Well, there's a number of them for Salford. I look at Chris Atkin, Adam Sidlow, Tyler Dupree, Ulmer Lloyd, all spend a large part of their career in the Championship.
Well, Andy Ackers is another one, isn't he? And now all of a sudden he's done it tough when he made his Super League debut.
Absolutely.
Said last week at 26. Yeah, now he's England's hooker.
Just look a little bit lost at the moment, don't they, Warrington? A little bit disjointed.
With Danny Walker and Sam Cassiano being sent on to change the momentum of this game.
Joe!
That's a towering kick, isn't it? Well taken. But what about the return here from Burgess? Gets a half a chance again. That's been pretty evident over the last sort of 10-15 minutes, the amount of Salford players that are just winning that mini collision in the middle of the field.
And the other worrying thing for Warrington as they come to this left-hand side, because he's injured George Williams. He makes the tackle, but he was down for a while. He's had some treatment. He was limping, George Williams. He is their kingpin, and he's still limping on this left wing here for Warrington.
They're managing to create the overlap quite easy, aren't they, Salford, on either edge?
Cross and Ackers causing all sorts of problems. Add Sneed into the mix, and Laffey and Callum Watkins. Shane Wright, Sneed goes to the corner, little chip over the top, it bounces awkwardly, and who's going to come up with it? And in the end, it was a grateful Greg Minikin, because the bounce favoured him, and he managed to bat it back, and it's a goal line dropout, and the pressure builds once more on the Warrington Wolves.
And there's enough red shirts in there as well to make Greg Minikin feel a bit uncomfortable. You know, you talk about in rugby that you play on the front foot, and when you play on the front foot, everything seems to be going for you. Confidence is with you. You push up with support, with your teammate carrying the ball. You've got that attacking shape out wide. And all of a sudden, at the minute, like Kyle said, this Warrington team's under a bit of pressure the first time this year.
Jenna reporting from the pitch side that there's a thumbs up from the Warrington medical staff for George Williams to carry on, but he certainly looked like he'd turned his ankle. He was in a spot of bother for a while, and he's going to have to defend here. And Croft in for Dion Cross, and again...
I love that, me, with back Brody Cross.
Penalty.
He digs right into the line and he makes people check him and be accountable. And when you've got a half-back who's that brave, just watch him engage. I think it's Williams right into the line, and Williams with a shoulder charge on his opposite number.
Yeah, and that's it. He's not been done for a late shot. He's been done for a shoulder charge. So George Williams, like, he didn't need to do that. All he had to do was engage, wrap his arm around, and like Brodie Croft, anyone who's watched him knows that he'll go into the line. Like we see Mark Sneed do it as well.
Frustration?
A bit of frustration, yeah.
The last time Salford had this sort of start to a set, about 15 metres out from their line, well, guess what? Mark Sneed opened them straight up. I don't think we'll see a repeat of that, but they'll certainly throw some shape and ask a few questions.
Well, they'll take the 2 points here, won't
it?
Yeah, he'll take the 2 points. It takes it out to 3 scores. You know what, there's 8 minutes to go till half-time.
Really, isn't it?
Yeah, you just close that game down. You let a minute go by. You take the instructions from your coach.
This is why we love this sport, because you always expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
And we've had the unexpected. Salford will say that we haven't, but we have. I mean, let's be honest. You know, all of us here, or most of us here, would be predicting a Warrington win tonight.
Yeah,
but Salford have been inspired, and I love watching this.
I said to you before the game, though, Stuart, I said I'm really looking forward to this game, because the way that Salford are playing, forget last week's result, the final 55 minutes, the way they started that game against Hull KR with Mark Sneed, I thought that they could trouble Warrington, and they did say that before.
And they have.
Well, just to put into context, Pikey,
as Mark Sneed puts over the extras, and 6-0 down, becomes a lead of 20 points to 6 with 7 minutes to go to half-time. And no wonder Sneed and Salford are smiling, and no wonder Darrell looks miserable.
well, we were just saying there, to put into the context of this first half performance, you know, Warrington went into this heavy favourites amongst most people at home. And the reason because that is Warrington, they'd yet to concede a try in the opening first half of both of those games. Well, Salford have put 20 points on them, and it's been a joy to watch. I love the way that they moved the ball. The half-backs just taking the line on, engaging themselves into it. The middle's playing with the ball as well. There's threats all over the park.
But don't forget, they made a slow start last year.
You good, Joe?
They won 7 in 9 to make the playoffs. 7 out of 9 to make the playoffs, and they were very, very close, weren't they, to beating Saints in that semi-final.
Well, there was a lot of talk in the studio and before the game from a number of pundits about how good Warrington's forwards have been, and yeah, that is banged on. But you look at Tyler Dupree, they're 143 metres. You look at any player in the Warrington pattern, the highest metre maker is McKaylee with 58. It shows you what a decent job and what a good mindset when you turn up to play the game and like embrace that challenge, what it can do for you.
Sneed spiralling and spiralling and spiralling, and it bounces awkwardly, and it's eventually Dufty leaving it to Matty Ashton. But once more, look where Warrington are starting their set.
Yeah, they're seeing this last part of the first half out exceptional fashion. And I just think for Warrington, you know, Darrell Powell will get his troops back in there. But this group, this will be the first time that they're hit with those scars, those mental memories of last year. Can they get through it and show some real quality, some real class, real resolve, and battle through in the next half?
I think it's just fair to say the truth. We're going to see what Warrington are made of now, aren't we? We're going to really see what they're made of and what the changes have done. And if they can get back into this game, Walker dragged to the ground by Croft and by Ackers, just inside the Salford half of the field. It is the last one, and Williams launches an awkward one, but that's brilliantly taken by Seal. He watched that over his shoulder and just took it in his stride, Ken Seo.
And that's the key, because that ball was going absolutely everywhere. He's looking over his shoulder, and to catch that, that's a real good skill from the winger.
Well, this is absolutely outstanding from the Salford Red Devils.
Well, he just absorbed all that pressure, didn't he, inside the first 10 minutes, and then hit back. And once they got a foothold in the game, they haven't let go. Watkins now.
Well, 20 points to 6, 4 minutes to half-time, and we're joined now by the Salford coach, Paul Rowley. When we spoke yesterday, you said, don't write us off, and boy, what a performance this has been.
Yeah, we know we can play with the ball, can't we? And I think we've been faultless. We're up in 90s. That's a sheer contrast to our previous game against OKR, so territory's come in our favour. It's interesting, we made about 7 clean breaks in the first 10 minutes, yet didn't get a set of 6, a set restart, so he is trigger happy, Jack Smith, so if we could win a few of them, it would help us, but that's the 3rd penalty we've given at Yardies now, so don't want to kill ourselves, but yeah, with the ball being faultless, just need to sharpen up around the ruck. We've been a bit sloppy, I think, defensively around the ruck.
Just tell us a little bit, we won't keep you, about Tyler Dupree. He's done his apprenticeship, he's been absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, he's still learning, and there's a long way to go yet as well. So yeah, he's a big lad. He's got leg speed, and he's like the rest of the group. You know, he's Ollie Partington's there. He knows how to play with Tyler, and so I think Ollie's done a great job in putting Tyler in the right places. And like I say, he's a big bopper, and with some leg speed, who's exploited some gaps and made some clean breaks for us. Been great.
Spot on. Thank you, Paul.
Cheers, guys.
Fair play to mentioning Ollie Partington, who's again been outstanding. Williams manages to wriggle away from another tackle. What a key moment of the game. We've got 3 minutes to go to half-time. Really big moments in this match. Can Warrington find a way back? Cassiano and Drinkwater go for the corner. Tipped back inside by Fulis. Greg Minikin couldn't pick up the loose ball, and it's gratefully pounced on by Tim
you know,
Laffey.
Pikey, if he takes that ball cleanly through this and gets the ball inside to Minikin, instead of tapping it back to him, I'm sure there's a bit of space. Look, the ball was tapped down. There's nobody in front of Minikin. If that's a pass that goes to his hands, he scores that try. Well, this Salford team, for me, they'll play expansive, and Paul Rowley knows that he's got a team that's like willing to work really hard. They earn the right to play from wherever they are. It's been a quality first half from them.
Okay.
And again, they're offloading just outside their own 20, but they're prepared to give it a go. A little high from Ratchford on Brodie Croft. Play on, says the referee. And right it is with the drive forward into the last couple of minutes then of this first half. Warrington led 6-0. But then Salford have been outstanding. Not the best kick, probably the worst kick of the half from Salford, straight down the throat of Matty Ashton. And they've got 90 seconds here, Warrington, to try and do something special.
Yeah, it wasn't a great kick, was it? But he had all the time in the world to put the kick where he wanted. And he just scuffs it to go straight down the throat of Matty Ashton.
That scoreboard, they need more points still for them to win the game. Salford, 14-point lead. Going into half-time's not enough.
Wow, brilliant from Clark now. Bullock bulldozing his way through. A couple of tackles left in the set. We've got 60 seconds to go in the half. Desperate times for Warrington. Desperate measures as Williams puts the pass out, and it was knocked on. It wasn't the best pass. It was always going to be difficult for Matty Ashton. And you know, the errors that are coming from Warrington, they're forced errors because they're being put under pressure.
Well, like I said at the start of the game, the completion rate around 190%, 88% last week. They're not only chasing the clock because they know that they've got less than a minute to go, they've got that field position, they're chasing the scoreboard as well, and it's amazing what a bit of pressure does for you.
Well, for me, for Warrington to get back into this game, we just saw there a pass going, really cut out three players to find the floor. For me, they're getting most of their joy in and around the ruck, and there's a discipline with staying there, keep working those middles over, keep making those breaks, and then play off the back of it. Too many times Warrington, they've done exactly what they did last year and just look to play the way out of trouble rather than doing the hard stuff first, Pikey.
Well, the elusive Tim Laffey and Dion Croft there will just take the tackle. What a first half it has been. And some boos from the faithful here at the Halliwell Jones. Paul Rowley, though, will be absolutely delighted, as will Oliver Partington, who has led from the front. What a performance from a man who was discarded by Wigan. He was surplus to requirements, but Partington is coming into his own with the Salford Red Devils. 6-0 down, 20 unanswered points. And Warrington, who were big favourites,